This video is called The Secret Life of Your Heart. And if anyone's been following what I've been up to lately, I've been developing something called heart retrieval. And this is like a 2-hour session that is based on creative kinesiology. So that's what I've been studying for years now. But if you've been following any of the testimonials coming out about heart retrieval, then I don't know if you've been blown away like I have reading the testimonials, but the results are out of this world, phenomenal, deep, activating, life-changing, life-affirming. So this video is going to be a dive into how this heart retrieval thing works and what it's about. I haven't been on lives for must be a couple of months now. Hiya, Daniel. Hello to everyone watching. It's been a while. So I actually feel kind of like my heart's racing. I don't know if it's nerves, but it's more like, so a lot wants to come out. I've actually written down quite a lot of what I want to say and just explain, really pad out what's going on with this heart retrieval work. So how do we start? We start with heartbreak, abandonment, rejection, dismissal. You know, what secrets does your heart hold? Is it a haunted heart, an armored heart, a broken heart? Is it a sad heart? Is it a full heart? It doesn't matter if you're in a relationship, looking for a relationship, never having a relationship again. Whatever it is, a heart retrieval is a way of adventuring, exploring your heart and the myths that it's built up over time. So every single heart retrieval is completely different from the other. I can't even, you know, it has a basic protocol, but every single one is so different, and we really go with what's most important because we're using kinesiology. So I'm muscle testing, and if it's online, I'm surrogating for the muscle test, and we're finding out a yes and a no from your body so that your body can tell us, your heart can tell us what is going on with it. So some sessions have been, like the first hour have been about ancestral guilt, which has meant totally destructive relationships, you know, for years and years, like their whole life. Or there's been childhood pain of some kind or abuse, and that's hindered the trust in relationships. Or there's been like drastic codependence every time, and you're so frustrated, like, why am I why are these relationships happening again and again? I thought I'd done all this self-work. I thought this wasn't going to happen again. That stuff, that's what we're looking at. We're getting a finger on it and going, why is that there? We can start with the premise of like, okay, we're going to get to the heart retrieval bit where we are actually retrieving, I'm going to explain all this in a moment, but retrieving heart threads from certain people and certain situations in your life. But first we might look at why your body or your system, your energy system, is sabotaging you. Why you are self-sabotaging unconsciously, subconsciously. We're going to pinpoint exactly why that is happening. Because we all have limiting beliefs and subconscious programming, childhood, you know, like programming and beliefs in our system. And then we kind of, they're like playing out in the background, almost like out of our control. And kinesiology is a way of really pinpointing what's going on for you. So what is your heart wanting to tell us? How old is the heartbreak that you've been carrying around like a scar, like scar tissue? How long has that been there? Or how long has your wound created from, you know, the first love you ever had? How long has that been trapped in a cage live, like it's never ever been able to heal? How long has that been going on for? It doesn't matter if you're married for the last 30 years. There still could be threads. Still could be secret pain. I'm not saying you're keeping a secret. I'm saying your heart holds secrets for you. So it's just incredible when you start opening that box. It can feel a bit like Pandora's box, but luckily with kinesiology, there's ways of finding what the issue is, and then finding what your body believes it needs to let go of that particular pattern. So why heart retrieval has been so phenomenal. I mean, for me, it's just like blowing my mind. It's bigger than me. And I think that it's going to build into something incredible. Yeah, and so like I have to staying really grounded with what I've developed so far. And I know it's going to change and build. So as it stands, it's a 2-hour session. And we are exploring the secrets that your heart have. But what I call heart threads. Where are your heart threads? So how I understand this is that we create links, share fibers with the people that we are intimate with, that we have relationship with. And these threads, I call them heart threads, attach to someone else's heart threads. And that isn't particularly the best way to go about things. Like, we build attachments with people. What you really want is to build relationship with people from a full heart, where you have all your heart threads in your body, in your heart. You don't want to walk around with some of your heart threads stuck to someone you were in love with 20 years ago that you haven't seen in a long time. You don't even know where they are. But for some reason you have they pop into your mind, or, you know, and you have dreams about them or something like that. And you're like, why is that still happening? So you don't want to walk around with your heart threads attached to people willy-nilly. And you don't want your heart threads attached to the trauma and the agony that was sustained during the separation. So I've been doing this with like a few dozen people and friends. So I've been developing it for, how many months is it now? Like 8 months, and I've done quite a few. And what the patterns are is that your heart threads, and we check percentages. We're actually checking the percentage of heart threads you have with someone else. So people often come with, let's say, 3 or 4 significant partners in their life, like in their past. And in their present, like their current partner might be in that as well. And then you find out with the muscle testing the percentage of heart threads you have stuck to that person. So we can check, let's say, okay, there's 12% of your heart threads attached to someone else's heart threads. Like your hearts or your energy systems are linked even 20 years down the line. So that's one thing that we're going to find with the kinesiology, what is needed for you to reclaim your heart threads from there. So that's one thing. That's one permutation that can appear. And then we'll check every single connection that you mentioned. We'll check it like this. Then we check, let's say, person B. And that was like, I don't know, classic, abusive, narcissistic relationship thing, codependent, horrific ending, can't believe you even went there, blah, blah, blah. We check the heart threads. Are your heart threads attached to that person's heart threads? No attachment to the person itself. So that's like a bonus. But the heart threads attached to that person's, to the breakup, to the trauma sustained in the separation. So your heart threads are actually attached to what I call a pocket of your consciousness. There's like a pocket in your consciousness, in your aura, in your energy field. There's like an area where that trauma of that breakup, of that heartbreak, of that agony, of that humiliating, awful experience is just living frozen in time over and over and over. It's living there. It's kind of like frozen trauma. Your heart threads are attached to that. Like, shit, I'm never doing that again. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that to happen again. That kind of thing. So your body starts armoring up like, we're never letting that happen again. We're never letting that happen again. And that's where self-sabotage might come in. When you're trying to start a new relationship or thinking about it, your body will be like, hell no, we're not doing that again. So we want to find then, so we found out there's, I can't remember the numbers I've said now, but 12% with person A with their heart. And then we've got 10% stuck to the trauma of separation with this other person. And then there's like another pattern that appears, and there's like 4% with person C. And actually it's not with the person, it's not with the breakup, it's actually linking, that relationship triggered a link into your childhood patterns or mummy daddy issues or something like that, where you didn't get the love you needed, where you weren't maybe nourished, or you didn't feel secure, you didn't feel trust that you were going to get what you needed, something like that. So sometimes we think that we were like mortally wounded by some story in our life, but actually maybe it was just poking at something much, much older that was already in our system. So now we've got this picture, and then we use the kinesiology to start drawing, as in the kinesiology will get a yes and a no from the body, and we will find out, is this affecting, like we'll do one at a time, and is this affecting you on a physical level? No. Is it an emotional level? Yes. Is it a spirit or energetic level? Yes. So we've got 2 levels of your system that are being affected by that particular situation. So then we'll ask all the tools and folders and files, like, okay, so how is this affecting the body? Oh, it's creating a distortion in, I'm just making this up as I go. This is creating a distortion in your vital force, like in your vitality and in your auric field, so that when you go near people, they're like, oh, I'm not, they feel something a bit edgy and unsure, like, I don't think I could really ask this girl out because she's a bit spiky. I don't know, I'm totally making this up, I haven't written any of this down. So you can start pinpointing with the kinesiology, where is this problem? How is it affecting the system? What flavor has it got? And we've got folders like that fat full of words and information and just a helping hand in understanding what's happening in your system. So like really descriptive tools, so that we can really, really find out what's been happening in your system, in your love life, in your relationships, in your heart. And then we find out by asking again your system, what does your body need to reclaim your heart threads? The whole aim of a heart retrieval is to reclaim all your threads from these different aspects of these different times in your life. Because at the end of the day, you're walking around with, what's that add up to? 26%, is that right? 26% of your heart, in our hypothetical story, 26% of your heart is not with you. You're married, in a relationship, or looking for a relationship, and you're 26% of your heart's not even here. That's more than a quarter. That's hard. And that can cause, even 10% can cause havoc in your life if it's not with you. And I'm speaking from experience, because 60% of my heart, this is how I developed this work, I found out after, I managed to, with a friend, retrieve my heart from an incredibly traumatic story. It was so old though, that I hadn't realized the effect it had on the entire, over a decade of my life. So managed to retrieve my heart from this very painful situation, because it got re-triggered in the present. Sorry, I don't mean to talk in code, but it's a bit private. Everyone's heart stories are quite private, so I'm very privileged to have heard so much. I've heard so many stories, and people have really shared their love stories with me, and it's an incredible honor. But I retrieved my heart from this sick, and I found out after, by retrospectively building this heart retrieval work, found out that 60% of my heart threads, and it literally felt like an open wound trapped in a cage there for over a decade. And I had many relationships, and I found out that 60% of my heart was attached to that person. And that's hard, because when I finally retrieved all my heart threads and I felt that cage come off and I felt like my heart become an entirely different thing, a sense of, I mean, I walked out of here like glowing, like bouncing off the walls with joy and happiness, because I'm like uncaged. And look at that point where all my heart threads came back. I couldn't believe, when I glanced at all the relationships I'd had with since that story in the last decade, how I couldn't give those people what they deserved. I probably didn't even get to choose, you know, I wasn't having full-hearted relationships. A lot of them were pretty destructive, not quite right. You know, there was that feeling of being in love, but then everything kind of crumbling apart. And I'm not surprised. 60% of my heart was stuck somewhere else in the past. And that's where this work has come from, is from personal experience. And I'm realizing, the more people I'm working with, how this has a tremendous impact on your ability to form meaningful, deep relationships, not only with yourself, with other people. And reclaiming your heart threads is a stand to reclaim your innocence and your purity, so that you can give love like a frolicking child of the universe, not from inside a cage or from a dungeon or from pain. It's so that you can feel free in your relationships. So a heart retrieval it's more than 2 hours. You know, yes, it's taking me 2 hours to do this epic piece of work. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think it's going to be 2 hours for much longer. I think if you want this short, sharp piece of work that you're going to leave like thinking about for weeks and weeks on end, about reflecting on your own life and reflecting on where you're going to go next, and feeling that sense of freedom there, and some really deep healing of core wounding, and resolution of past stories, and freedom from abandonment and rejection, and an unloading of your unconscious and subconscious patterns, then heart retrieval is definitely something really important that you could be doing. It's like steps in the right direction, I think. It's so very nice to see everyone on. I'm just looking now. Hello. Daniel said, sounds just like what I need. Totally resonate with self-sabotage bit. Will be perfect after the aura transformation. Yes, absolutely. I've worked with a few people that have had already aura transformations. Some people are having aura transformations and a heart retrieval, and then other stuff I do. And also, heart retrieval is like this 2-hour bit of work you can do with me. But I'm also opening up to, there's only room for about 8 people a year to work with me in this way. And I'm kind of phasing out just little bitty pieces of work with people, like, you know, doing one kinesiology session here and there. I don't want to work like that. I want to work deep and thoroughly and create massive transformation in your life, you know. So these packages have, say, a heart retrieval in it and a goal activator session where you walk towards your goals and see what's holding you back, or what could come up to hold you back on all levels of your being and existence. And then kinesiology sessions to kind of back it up. So kind of heart retrievals at the center of it, and it might be a few kinesiology sessions leading up to that, like with the goal of I am worthy of a positive and healthy relationship. That is a huge piece of work. Why? What has happened in your life that has meant that you haven't felt worthy of a positive relationship? So even clearing that on many levels of your system, and then having a heart retrieval, pulling all your heart threads back, and then having a few follow-up kinesiology sessions. It's like, that's epic. So I am only working with a few at a time. I can only do so many a year, really, because it's like working in depth. But you have to message me for those because it's kind of by interview. It's if we fit, if it makes sense for us to work together. And we can do that online and also in person. It works both ways. It works fine I'm working with people in the States, in Canada, in Sweden, and in South Africa. So all over the place. I'm just actually going to check if I've said everything I want to say. No, I think I've covered it a lot. I think I've covered a lot. And for those of you that are on here, so this video, actually, I'm going to make it into a competition. So there is going to be, for every 20 people that share this video, and I'm going to fill out the post some more tonight or tomorrow. For every 20 people that share the video, like the video and share it, and write me a message just saying, I love my heart, so I can identify the messages. For every 20 people that share it, like it, and message me, one person is going to win a heart retrieval. So that's a chance for people to work with me for free. So if you'd like to share, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'll write the instructions in the post after this. What secrets is your heart holding? Where is your heart completely? This is for you if you are in relationship or looking for relationship or totally fucked up by relationship. This is amazing work. I can't enthuse enough about how important and how phenomenal this work is. I'll put a couple of the testimonials to go with it. Hi, Anna. Anna was looking after me this weekend. I've had a lovely time in Cornwall. And I'm a little bit burnt now because I've been 2 days on the beach, but it was well worth it. I think that's all I have to say. And I just think if you want to message me and find out more about this work, I've only got about 6 days left between now and mid-August to do work because I'm traveling and I'm away doing other projects. So if you want to work with me in the next month, then you kind of have to hurry up and get in there because I'm still doing aura transformations and balancings and all my normal clients. So do get in touch ASAP. So like the video, share the video on your wall, and then when you've done that, message me, I love my heart, then you might be in for a free heart retrieval. And so that means if 40 people share the video, that's 2 people that will get free heart retrievals. If there's 60 people, there'll be 3 people that get a free heart retrieval. I really look forward to working with you. So much love. Take care out there. Listen to your heart. What stories has it got to tell? And come to me if you want to reveal deeper secrets and reclaim all those threads. Love. Bye.